Roll, you creaky piece of shit!
Sonny pressed himself against the wagon, pushing with all he had. The 4 powerful oxen that used to pull it were now dead, and instead of them, 3 tired slaves were trying to do the job. Even with the slope of the road helping them, the speed of the wagon was agonizingly slow. The tyrant, unfortunately, was moving much faster. Pushing the young soldier back with a deadly swipe of its lower arms, the Mountain King raised its lower arms to its neck, trying to grab hold of the chained noose around its neck. The Mountain King's fearsome physique seemed to be turning into a disadvantage. Its long, terrifying bone claws were perfect for tearing flesh apart, but they weren't the best tool for precise movements. It took the tyrant some time to finally get a hold of the chain without slicing its neck open. Right as the beast got a grip on the chain, the wagon finally started to approach the edge of the cliff.
Come on, just a little bit more!
The wagon's rear wheels finally slid from the road, hanging over the dark, seemingly bottomless pit beneath. The creature felt a tug on the chain and turned, staring expressionlessly at the 3 slaves with its 5 milky, dead eyes. The wagon tipped, half of the wood disappearing towards the abyss below. The quick motion threw Benny and Fraser off their feet. Then, the wagon froze, balanced precariously on its middle axis. Sonny was the only one left standing. He cast a last glance at the towering monster and then slammed his shoulder into the front of the wagon. The wagon finally lost its balance and rolled over the edge, scraping its undersides deafeningly against the jagged rocks. Sonny fell forward, landing on his knees, narrowly saving himself from tumbling down the cliff with it. Turning his head to the tyrant, he gave it a wicked smile. The Mountain King made a move to lunge at the scrawny slave, but it was already too late. A moment later, the chain on his neck drew tight, and he was yanked back with tremendous force, flying over the edge of the cliff like a rag doll. The creature fell into the darkness silently, as though refusing to believe that it had been defeated by a tiny human.
Die, you giant bastard,
Sonny thought. Then he took one deep, ragged breath and dropped to the ground, utterly exhausted.
Is this it? Did I pass the trial?
He rested on the cold stones, staring at the night sky, and waited for that faintly familiar but elusive voice to announce his victory. But instead, wave after wave of pain that he had earlier chosen to ignore finally started to catch up with his abused body.
Oh.
His whole body ached, his joints flared with pain, the skin on his back slashed by a slaver's whip and pierced by the bone spikes of a newborn larva, burned in agony. He started to shiver, once again consumed by the dreadful cold.
I guess not.
His thoughts were slow and muddy.
What else am I supposed to do?
A dark figure appeared above him. It was the young soldier. He looked as calm and handsome as ever. Dirt and scratches decorated his armor from his valiant battle, but otherwise, the young soldier appeared to be fine. He extended one arm to Sonny.
You can't rest here. You'll freeze to death.
Sonny sighed, accepting that his first nightmare was not over. Then he clenched his teeth and slowly rose to his feet, ignoring the soldier's helping hand. Around them, there was a sense of utter carnage. Except for the 3 slaves and the heroic soldier, every member of the caravan was dead. Their bodies littered the ground. They were horribly maimed, and some were torn into pieces. Here and there, a repulsive carcass of a larva could be seen. Shadows cast by the bonfire danced happily across the stone platform, seemingly unperturbed by this morbid view. Sonny was already numb to the gruesome carnage, or was simply too tired to react. Benny and Fraser were already up, looking at the soldier with weary apprehension. With or without shackles, They were still slaves, and he was still a slave driver. Noticing their tense gazes, the soldier sighed.
Come closer to the fire, all of you. We need to warm ourselves and discuss what to do next.
Without waiting for their response, the soldier turned around and walked away. After hesitating for a few moments, the slaves followed. A bit of time later, the four of them were seated around the bonfire, soaking up pleasant heat. Benny and Fraser were close to each other, maintaining a safe distance from the soldier. Sonny sat apart from everyone, not because he had a specific reason to distrust one more than the others, but simply because he didn't know how to interact with people in general. Growing up, Sonny was always a misfit. It's not that he had never tried to become close with someone. It's just that he seemed to lack the ability. It was as if there was an invisible wall between him and the rest of the world. If he had to put it in words, Sonny would say that he was born without a small but important gear in his brain that everyone else seemed to possess. As a result, he was often baffled and stumped by human behavior, and his attempts to imitate it, however diligent, inevitably fell flat. This strangeness made others uncomfortable. He has always been a bit different, and if there was one thing people hated, it was those different from them. Over time, Sonny simply learned to avoid getting too close to anyone and settled comfortably into his outcast role. This habit served him well, since it not only made him self-reliant, but also saved him from being stabbed in the back by shady characters on multiple occasions. That's why he was not thrilled to share the rest of this nightmare with three strangers. Instead of trying to start a conversation, Sonny sat quietly by himself, lost in thoughts. After a few minutes, the soldier's voice finally broke the silence.
My name's Gregor.
Sonny looked up and across the fire at him. Benny scoffed. Oh, so we're on a first-name basis now. Or were you planning to still just refer to us as slaves? Gregor ignored Benny's words.
Once the sun rises, we will gather whatever food and water we can find and go back down the mountain.
Benny gave him a defiant look. Why should we go back? To be put in chains again? The young soldier sighed.
We can go our separate ways once we leave the mountain. But until then, I'm still responsible for your lives. We can't continue up the road since the way over the mountain pass is long and arduous. Without the supplies that were stored on the wagon, your chances of making it are not high. That's why going back is our best hope.
Fraser opened his mouth, planning to say something, but then thought better of it and remained silent. Benny cursed, but was seemingly convinced by Gregor's rational words. We can't go down. Benny barked a laugh and glanced at the soldier. Don't listen to him, your lordship. This boy is, touched by the gods. He's crazy, is what I'm trying to say. Gregor frowned, looking at the slaves.
The two of you are only alive thanks to this child's bravery. Aren't you ashamed to badmouth him so?
Benny shrugged, showing that he wasn't ashamed in the least. The young soldier shook his head.
I, for one, would like to hear his reasoning. Tell me, why can't we go down?
Sonny shifted, uncomfortable in the center of everyone's attention. Because the monster isn't dead.
Wait, that's not the end. You've just had a free taste. Now get the full story on the Pocket FM app, link in description. Check out our next video and playlist, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.